All right, we're live. We're excited today. Hold on one second. I got honored to have the one and only David Jones sitting next to me in the Super Terb Podcast studio. What we've got to do is go ahead and share this to my personal page, and we'll get started. So that way we can have many people watching. See, look at you right there.
Oh, man. Not like seeing yourself.
Yeah, so we're good. And now we are come up here. But that way I'm going to go ahead and tag a couple people.
Honored to be here with the Super Terb.
Yeah, this is exciting. We're going to have a lot of fun. So
I'm counting on it. I'm counting on you.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time here. Hold on. And we got to get started. Okay. As soon as that hits go.
7. Is my wife out there?
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
And welcome to the Super Terb Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert with the Terb Group, Coldwell Banker HPW, a.k.a. Super Terb, a.k.a. Coach Terb. And I'm back with episode 57 of the Super Terb Podcast, where we talk real estate, business, sports, and beer in the triangle. And I am honored to have the man, the myth, the legend, David Jones, CEO of Coldwell Banker HPW, in the Super Terb studio today. Say hello.
I'm happy to be here. I hope I live up to that.
I cannot wait for you to talk about HPW, why you love what you do, obviously we kind of know your role as a CEO. Talk about that, talk about the real estate industry. We'll just have a good time having conversations. And of course, we always have rapid questions at the end, which you don't necessarily know what those are, but we learn more about you. I started this podcast almost 2 years ago. We were just talking about that, to talk to local business entrepreneurs, agents, you name it, have them tell their story and to provide, real estate tips at the same time. Okay. So awesome. Before we get started, I have a real estate tip today that I always like to share, just to help people accomplish their real estate goals. And today, in today's market, you can attest, it's kind of uncertain out there, but it's what we see in the media. Like, we're scared about what's around the other corner.
From the media.
Yeah, we've had the buyers maybe take a step back. We've seen interest rates goes up. But I wanted to tell the buyers out there that's listening in Apple, Spotify land, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, if you've been on the fence, if over the last 18 to 24 months, you have not been able to necessarily compete. Sure, you've been qualified. You've been pre-approved for a mortgage, but you may not have been able to compete with the multiple offers, the cash buyers, the people that are putting down an exorbitant amount of due diligence. This is the time for you. Let's have a conversation, because I think you guys may not realize there are loan programs out there with our preferred lender that we call 2-1 buy downs, things that we can get your rates. What if I told you could have an interest rate in the 3s right now for your first year? Then it goes up maybe into the 4s the second year, and then caps at the current rate the third year. But by that time, you've already married the house, but you're dating a rate, you're going to refinance. So these are the things that I want to talk to, because we're having conversations with buyers right now and sellers. It's hard to believe we're approaching the fourth quarter of 2022. This year's gone so fast, and buyers are out there saying, you know what, I think I want to wait till the spring or early next year, which I can understand because maybe they've renewed their lease. But let's have that conversation now, and you may be surprised what we can find for you, where we can actually do something that we haven't really been able to do over the last couple of years, and that is called negotiate. So there's the opportunities out there. So is there anything we can do to help you accomplish real estate goals? Any questions you may have, reach out to me, message me. We'd be honored to help you. So that's my real estate tip today. I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back on the other side with the one and only David Jones.
Okay.
And welcome back to the Super Terb Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert with the Terb Group, Coldwell Banker HPW, a.k.a. Super Terb. And again, episode 57 of the Super Terb Podcast, coming live from the Triangle, or what we like to call Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill. And I have David Jones next to me. I know I've said your name 16 times, but tell everybody out there your name and where you're from.
My name is David Jones. Where I'm from depends on when you're asking. If you're asking now, I live in Cary. I have lived in the Research Triangle area for 40 years, we'll say. And I am originally from North Carolina, from the coast.
You're originally from the coast?
I am, yes.
What part of the coast?
Central part. The only place people might have heard of, Harker's Island, or Beaufort, or Morehead City, that area.
Very cool.
Grew up there as a kid.
Now, how long have you been? Now, you're the CEO of HPW.
True.
How long have you been in that position for us? It seems like yesterday.
About 3 years.
It's gone fast, but it's been a good 3 years, right?
Oh, it has.
So were you with HPW before you became CEO?
Yes. I joined HPW in 1987.
Holy cannoli. I learned something just right there.
There you go.
Super Terb Podcast. 1987. You moved to Raleigh in 86.
Oh, did
Yeah.
because I remember when I first started doing business.
Better Homes and Garden. Were you affiliated in? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We always tell the story that's the Don told her she wouldn't make it 1 year. She always reminds that. So we got Jay. Look, you already got fans here.
Oh,
saying hello. Jay saying hello.
All right. Yeah,
Jay, she always lets him remember that. So 1987, you started. What was your role then?
Actually, I started with a Triangle Development Company, which was Don had a partner at the time, Alton Smith, and Triangle Development Company built some developments here around Raleigh, Cary, Emerald Chase, Banbury Woods, Wellington Park, and Cary. And I started with the development company then on the accounting side of life. That's where my degree was, and did that for probably 5 or 6 years. And then at some point along that way, I got involved with the real estate company as far as the accounting side of life. Did that up until 2000. And actually, Don Walston created a position he felt like he needed as the company was growing at that time. Chief Operating Officer, and hung out there until about 3 years ago.
Very cool. And something I want you to tell everybody out here, because we always say HPW, Howard, Perry, and Walston.
Yes.
I know Walston.
Yes.
Who's Howard and Perry?
Howard Perry.
Or was that
Howard Perry is one person.
Okay. I've been working with the company 11 years. I'm figuring this out.
Really? Okay. Well,
now, Mom's told me, but this
will
everybody out there can know.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Howard Perry was a real estate builder here in this market. Don teamed up with him. Don started his real estate career in the late 60s, and then teamed up with Howard in the early 70s, formed the company in 1972, and actually began doing business in 1973. So next year will mark 50 years.
That's an awesome.
And so Howard Perry was his partner up until I think the early 80s. That preceded me, but that's my understanding.
Now, we all love Susan Holbrook. When did she come on board? I know she retired a couple years ago. Was she part of the early on?
Susan was part of the company when I started. Played, good Lord, I can't even tell you how many roles in the company. At that time, I was a kid. And so, I remember she ran recruiting. Susan, remarkably at that point in time, what I remember, one of the things I loved about her was she wanted to do recruiting. She wanted to attend the conference. There were no recruiting conferences at that time, so she created one.
Right.
And brought people from all over the country here to the Triangle. I think we did that for 4 or 5 years until life changed.
Very cool.
So Susan was a hallmark.
So when Howard Perry or when Don started Better Homes and Garden, and then they went to Coldwell Banker, Howard Perry and Walston. What was the first office?
Oh, well, that did actually predate me, but actually this was our first office.
Was it first office? Was it where we're in right now? And then how many offices do we have today? Because I know
14.
That's awesome. As far as now, you became CEO 3 years ago. We all hear CEO, boss, right? What? Tell us what, that's a day in your life, but what's your role? What's your primary role? Outside of people coming to you, what do you do?
Well, first and foremost, my mission, as well as all of the managers and so on, is to support our agents and help them grow their business. It's one of the things I love about real estate is it's a business that you can come into and succeed at the highest level at what drives you and what makes your goals. And there's no timeline for doing so. There's no there are a number of defined frameworks for doing it. And so, first and foremost, I'd say that's the goal and objectives, is to make sure we are here to support our agents and help them grow to be as successful as they want to be.
Now I can attest that you guys definitely do that.
That's the mission.
It's 2022. It's hard to believe I'm almost saying 2023. There's a lot of different real estate companies out there. Okay, and people have options. What would you say Coldwell Banker does that separates us, say us, from the others, in the area?
Well, true. There are a lot of real estate agents, or a lot of real estate companies. Our people perform at the highest level of professionalism. Our agents know the business, they know the market, they know the sub-markets, and really are astute at hearing what people want to accomplish in their life when they're selling or buying or whatever they're doing with real estate, and being able to listen and interpret that and deliver for the customer, whether it be the buyer or seller, what they're trying to achieve. And so we work to make sure our agents stay abreast of what's going on in the market, as do our agents, and have the resources they need to deliver to buyers and sellers to make them have the most successful transaction they can possibly have.
Well, I'll say this: when people come to me and say, "Terb, what do you love about Coldwell Banker HPW, HPW?" Differences of other firms, maybe I just say, listen, one, I think the structure that we have in place, we have the camaraderie and the leadership is second to none. We're blessed to have a gentleman named Mark Parker as our broker in charge in our office. And I'm telling you what, just to have him in your corner is fantastic to know. And I mean, I know what's cool about him, or just I can text him at 7:30 at night. He's calling back in 2 minutes. Hey, what do you need help with? Yeah. On top of that, the technology side, just everything's streamlined. And you have something to help you. And I also love coming into an office. I know people can work from home. People can do things online, which is fine, fantastic. I purposely didn't have a printer in my house for about 10 years because I needed to come in the office. But I just like being in here. I like hearing people on the phones. I love the camaraderie.
Well, and you talk about people on the phone. Well, hearing people talk. I literally had breakfast with one of the agents in this office this morning, and she was talking about how giving our agents are to each other in terms of sharing information and what may work in their business or with a particular client. And we want to foster that environment where people can, that helps contribute to their success, because there is plenty of real estate to go around in this market.
Yes.
And the more you can share, the more you can
learn.
Just
a few weeks ago for our Tuesday meeting, Mark just set up almost like a round table. Just because we've had some shifts, or I hate to say adjustments with the market, and having a roundtable just for the people to talk, see what's their thing and what's going on, what is working for them, what maybe some verbiage you're using with your buyers and or sellers. Because if you're a seller, you've seen us going 200 miles an hour for 2 years, and now we're in the pits. We can't go faster than 55 miles an hour, and they see what their neighbors made a sold for. But then we remind them they've probably made 30% in 2 years. So we've got to just make sure we create the right expectations.
Still pretty incredible.
In talking about agents, we also have a fantastic real estate school. If you're an agent just starting out, or you're an agent that's been doing it 10, 20 years, and looking for a change or where to start, what do they get when they're joining Coldwell Banker HPW? I know you kind of maybe already touched on that, but what are some things that they could be, expect to come into and have that support to succeed? Right.
Well, if coming in new to the business, our goal is to help them get up to speed as quickly as possible. Agents are independent contractors, and getting up and being successful quickly is critical. And so we want to provide the resources, know-how, our managers, as you said, always accessible. They may shoot me for saying that, but they are, to help an agent work their way into the business. I always think and believe that we can get an agent through a transaction. We have the resources to do that, whether that's you helping a peer, our manager, Roger, our attorney, the challenge for real estate agents is generating the business, prospecting, and that's where we want to be of the greatest help that we can be as well. And for the experienced agents, they've already got a book of business. They can be at several stages where they've got a good book of business that they're working and so on. We want to help them take that book to a new level and make when they join us, their transition into the company as seamless and as smooth as we can possibly make it, no bumps, so their business just continues on a smooth and steady stream.
Good transition. As far as Coldwell Banker HPW in the community, maybe giving back, what are some things that we do in the community? Because I think that's big. As an office, we sign up for community service in a couple of weeks. I'm really trying to do that once a quarter for our team. But what's some other things that Coldwell Banker does?
Yeah. Well, as a company, we have the HPW Foundation, and two things we got going right now through the foundation is we have a habitat build coming up in Durham. It's one of the first few days in October. So Habitat's one of the causes that we support through our foundation. This particular one happens to be in Durham. And our big drive this fall is Turkeys for the Triangle.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Tim's right out front.
He's probably waiting out there to sell me tickets.
You got to run to the car.
I'm going to have a slide out through the back door.
Yeah.
No, Turkeys for the Triangle. Don Walston started that in the mid to late 90s. Started small. Today, we give away over 5,000 turkeys to families that need them for whatever cause, whatever purpose, during the holiday season, both at Thanksgiving and again at Christmas. I think we do 3,000 at Thanksgiving and 2,000 at Christmas. And it is one of the most rewarding things we do as a company because we know that it helps touch people's lives. We like it because it gives our agents the ability to make that contribution to a charity that is or a need that they know that exists in the community. And we always need to support.
Pretty amazing to see. Turkey for Triangle is fantastic. That's really cool. Yeah. We talk about Dawn. Describe working with Dawn. I love the laugh.
Oh man, Don, are you listening?
Maybe tell us one story about. I've done this with everyone for the HBO.
Okay.
Come on, a funny story about Don. Now, granted, we don't have any ratings here, but something that you can share. They feel comfortable. But I love Don, so I always like hearing the stories. So he's 100 miles an hour wide open.
He is, as he describes himself, as a bull in a china closet. But here's one. I don't remember the year, but you know how the TVJ does these recognition events, and he was like CEO of the year or something like that. And he has these sayings he always has. And at that point in time, he had a particular saying, and he's up on the stage being recognized or whatever, and had a few moments to make comments. And his saying at that point in time was, "Never shoot a running dog."
What?
And he had said it enough around us that we've kind of gotten the drift of what he meant. And we're looking around the room and there's like this really quiet, what does he mean? People are whispering to each other. But essentially what he was saying is, when you've got somebody that's running hard and is succeeding and so on, don't get in their way. And I think it's a totally appropriate
I like it.
message.
I like it.
So, that's just a Donism. Never shoot a running dog. Haven't heard him say that lately.
Tell everyone out there why you love what you do.
Well, I say, first of all, I love real estate. I always have. There's just something about it. I like it as a career. In, like I said earlier, there is no ceiling or defined hierarchy you have to move through. You can come in and put your foot on the accelerator and go as hard as you can. I particularly like, within our own company, the people. It's just a collection of really incredible real estate agents, but really incredible people that, as you were saying, give back to the community, give of themselves to their clients in ways sometimes that you really like. You're out there cutting their grass. You're doing whatever it needs to help them succeed in the real estate market, whether that's selling their home or buying their home. And
also, I think a 5-star service. And that's what we strive to do here with our team. And it's all about the relationships with your clients.
Absolutely.
And, as far as the just trying to help people, because people realize that when you're out there working with them, and they know they're in your corner. But the service that we provide, I think, is second to none.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's pretty amazing.
Where do you see Coldwell Banker HPW in 5 years?
Oh man, I see us right here. We pretty much cover the triangle from Mebane and as far east as Goldsboro. I see us growing beyond that footprint, and we see it today that our agents and the market continues to just grow.
I never thought we'd be selling in Sanford.
Sanford, Lillington.
I mean, that's I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
it's like what I love when people ask me, hey, Terb, where do you sell? I'm like, well, if I can get there within an hour and 15, we're
You
selling
name
to
it.
you. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we just sold something in Haw River, which you know, it's great. We were able to help our clients and get it sold. Because I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
continue.
no, it's good. And so I see us continuously growing, pretty much spreading out around the triangle. Could we be in other, totally other defined markets? Yes. A number of real estate companies today, jump borders and go elsewhere. We've got agents today that are beginning to push up into Southern Virginia, north of Carr Lake and so on.
Do you have to get a Virginia license if you go into Virginia?
Oh, yes, you do.
Because I know agents that are in like the Charlotte area, they can sell in South
Carolina.
But do they need? I don't know.
Got to have South Carolina.
You have to have both. Okay,
yeah.
It makes sense. I just was wondering that because I have a lot of friends that I have a great referral partner up in Lake Gaston because that's a real popular area as well as Lake Norman. So it's a little further away. No, I think the sky's the limit for us, and it's exciting times with everything. And in saying that, it's a little segue. When someone asks you about the current state of the market, what is your answer to them? I know it's anywhere you go, but that's good because they know what we do. And I'll be out having a beer. I'm out hanging out. Hey, Terb, how are things going? What's going on? So what's your answer to that?
Well, it's one of those cool things because everybody's always interested in what's going on in real estate, whether they're intending to buy or sell now or just interested, And so I look at today's market as 2021, 2020 were really off the charts crazy. Most people know that. Real estate agents certainly know that. And where we are today is settling into, I think, a more normalized pattern of having inventory to sell. It's still a stronger seller's market, and we still see listings selling above list price, and I don't see that changing with the economic development that's occurring. I mean, it's staggering what is going on economically here in this market, and I think we as agents, consumers, have adapted and will adapt. And as you were saying earlier, yes, marry the house and date the rate.
No, I love saying that. No, I agree. I actually joined the Raleigh Chamber a couple months ago just to meet more people, network. And when I went to the new member orientation, the chamber was talking to us and it was pretty cool. And one of the positions that handles or talks about jobs stands up. And it's still amazing to see that the companies haven't started here, but things like Apple, Fuji, Meta, Google. I mean, like those are the companies that are major that we know of. Then there's so many tech jobs that maybe they're not as mainstream.
Organic growth.
And they told me something when I was sitting there that we have over 80 people moving here a day.
Oh, and I had not heard that.
Yeah. So
I mean, it used to be in the mid 60s.
Yeah. And then they said 80. And of course, then you got to remember, so this summer when people were all, oh my gosh, $5 gas. We had a lot of things going on, inflation, rates. But then you combine the fact all this was happening in the middle of summer, July, which in a normal cyclical market, July slower, July, August, why? Vacations. Then you got to remember the last 2 years, no one's really traveled. So a lot of people put vacations to 2022. And I saw that firsthand when we were at Myrtle Beach with the family. I mean, it was packed. So you combine that, then we're a very reactionary society. We must take a step back, see what's going on. I fully believe that once first quarter rolls around, we're going to be wide open again. Of course, Terb and fortune teller Terb, I can't guarantee that, but I just know that a lot of families that are still wanting to move here are going to do so during that time of year, which is typically February to June is our go time. And I see that happen. So it goes back to my real estate tip. If you're thinking about buying right now and you're maybe in a position that because they have all these great loan programs, like 100% financing, 3% down, and it's great on paper. But when you're up against 10 offers that are offering liquid cash that don't worry about appraisals and things of that nature, those buyers can't compete. So this is the time. So but you hit it right on the head. I think we're back to, we're not back, but we've transitioned. And then also something that I touch on with people that may not realize the impact of this is we pretty much don't have coming soons anymore. I mean, we have that ability to have a coming soon, but days accumulate. So before May 17th, we could put a coming soon for up to 30 days, and days didn't accumulate on the market. So you actually had two different statuses. You had coming soon, active, and then active. And so that's what started bringing on the sight unseens. But as of that change, we may do coming soons out. If we do, it's like 2 days, because I look at days on market like dog years. You know, if it's 5 days, it's 35 days. Like, oh my gosh. But I've had to teach
in this market.
I've had to tell myself the one word: patience, and then the expectations that we create for our sellers at their kitchen table is letting them know this is what's going on.
Right.
We still have, doesn't matter what your buddy sold for or neighbor 60 days ago. We have to look again where they started at that time. The market will dictate where the final price is. And then we really only want to go back 30 days close and look at the pendings as far as when we're looking at numbers now. But when I show them what they paid for it versus that last 18 to 20. So I had a great story. Or not a story, it's an analogy. Do you like gambling?
I'm a rookie at it.
Blackjack?
If
or
I play
Vegas.
blackjack.
Okay. Well, let's say you go to Vegas, and the first you get excited. You're with your buddies. You get down. You say, "Okay, I'm going to put 10 grand on red roulette, right?" And you hit, and you won. Boom, double up, 20 grand in your pocket. That'd be fun, right? And rest of the weekend, you're just kind of maintaining, not really winning. You probably say, "Hey, I want to save my money. You know, let's go watch sports." But then right before you get on the plane, you're like, "You know what? I'm gonna press my leg. I'm going to put 5 grand down. Let's put it on red again." It hits black. So you lose 5 grand. Right. So you're upset. You're like, "You know what? I've lost 5." But you're up 15,000 for the trip, or in essence 5.
Not a bad trip.
You brought 10 with you. That's the real estate market, in my opinion. Like you're still doing, you're anywhere from 25 to 35%. But in the last couple months, sure, you're not going to sell for 30, 50, 75,000 over asking due to circumstances. But when you look at the big picture, when I remind people of what they've made over where from 2014 to 2020, our average appreciation of 6% a year. And so, when you talk to people like that, then they're like, "Oh." When I tell them our average sales price was January 2020, in January 2020 was $360,000 in Wake County. And as of last month, in this terrible market, I'm just joking, of course, is $568,000. That's a pretty good return on your investment.
No, that's
so. But so this is great. So are you ready for some rapid questions?
Rapid questions.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
This is fun.
Yeah, you're going to find out.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty boring person.
No, favorite food.
Favorite food. Usually anything Italian.
You have a favorite Italian restaurant in Raleigh?
Actually,
give them a shout out.
Actually, I live in Cary, near Holly Springs, so Christo's is
at your spot. What do you get when you go there?
Oh man, they have this chicken dish with pasta and peas. I absolutely love it.
I'll have to hit it up when I go down there. So is that your favorite restaurant on top of that, or do you have a favorite restaurant?
Oh no, that's Italian. I would say my favorite. Most recently, I would say. Well, I'll put it this way: my favorite dish is at Perry's.
Oh,
have you tried their pork chop?
I've not.
Oh,
I'll have to hit that up.
Go in hungry.
Pork chop, Perry's.
It's like their signature dish. It was amazing. Wow. I've only been once, but it's fantastic. Good enough to remember.
Favorite band.
Here's where I get bored. I'll put it this way. I don't listen to a lot of music.
You can even say genre. What's your favorite?
My favorite genre is country.
What's your last concert you went to?
Oh, good Lord.
Now we're going to have a team.
Oh, man, that's back in the archives somewhere. I couldn't even tell you.
All right. Favorite cocktail?
Cocktail?
Do you drink?
Not a lot. If I'm going to drink,
you like a beer,
liquor,
or do you like?
It's usually Bourbon.
All right.
Beer
Rocks or neat?
Neat.
All right. Whoa, okay. I like that.
If I'm drinking beer, I'm a lightweight. I drink Coors Light.
You can't go wrong with Coors Light now. Favorite sports team?
Well, that would be Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
Demon Deacons. Do you have a favorite pro team? Is that Hurricanes?
Hurricanes, of course.
Yeah.
I know you're the Panthers guy.
Yeah.
Man, tough one this weekend.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm numb. Like I knew what was gonna. I was there. I knew what was gonna happen. I knew exactly what was gonna.
No, yeah. I just love to see them succeed and bring.
Makes it fun
to the state.
The Panther, okay.
And the Boston Celtics. My dad. I remember watching pro basketball in the 60s. Terb, were you born? With my dad, and he loved the Celtics. So pro basketball.
Who was your favorite player?
Oh man, God, I'm not sure I can remember the names. I was just a kid.
I got it. Well, so when you're not working, what do you like to do?
Well, my go-to is running. kind of helps clear the head, get me some physical exercise. I have a group of friends that we've all kind of moved along and done the normal races, and now we like to do abnormal races.
Oh, so you're doing a triathlon?
I did do triathlon.
Like the full one? Like a full?
I did 2 Ironman races.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we already found that out about you, so that's impressive.
Yeah.
But what's another thing that something about you that people may not know?
Wow, something. Well, I grew up on the coast. Did we already talk about that? We did. And I still
Give me
have
something you
strong,
like.
strong
Maybe
affinity.
something that someone may be like, oh wow, didn't realize that.
Well, that's why I say you're gonna find I'm boring, Michael. Let's see, something you wouldn't know about me. God, I'm at a loss.
Well, I think I probably ruined it when you said you ran 2 Ironmans. That's impressive.
Yeah, well, that was
that's like probably less than 0.5% of the population have done that.
Well,
I ran.
So.
See my medals over there. I ran 3 half marathons.
Yeah.
Now I haven't done anything with water or bikes.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've done 3 tobacco roads, and my wife are going to do it again next March. So I'm back running again. Oh my gosh, am I
good
slow?
for you.
I
Yeah.
am slow.
No, I've moved to trail running. I went with a buddy of mine to Colorado a couple of weeks ago. He was going to do the Leadville 100.
Oh.
So I went out there to support him.
Have you read David Goggins? You know who he is, David Goggins? He's the
what's the name of his book?
You Can't Hurt Me, but he's done those 100-milers. He's former Navy SEAL.
Yeah,
just incredible book to listen to.
Yeah.
Where's the best place you visited?
Oh man, that would have been this past summer in Banff, Canada.
Oh wow!
Just
what did you do up there?
Actually, Coldwell Banker had a conference up there, and
I remember seeing that. I think you maybe did pictures or something. I'm trying to remember.
Just one of the most beautiful places.
Did you doing like
you could ever
hiking or?
I did, yeah. Like right outside of our hotel, there was a mountain, and training to help in Leadville. I ran, we'll say, up. Well, it was really a hike up the mountain. It was a jog down the mountain, but just the waters, the lakes, the river up there,
pretty
crystal clear. I mean, just it's a well worth the trip.
How about a place that you want to visit and you haven't been before?
Europe.
Never been to Europe?
Have not been to Europe.
I've only been once.
No.
I went in 2016. Everybody on the podcast, if they listen, they heard the same story. Me and my dad did a Beyond Band of Brothers tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know the show Band of Brothers. And so I'm a history major. Dad, obviously a veteran, U.S. Air Force fighter pilot. We did a father-son trip in the summer of 16. It was pretty cool because Mom and Dad went over to Paris before I arrived. So they were there 5 days having vacation. Then I came over, spent 2 days. So we ate in the top of Eiffel Tower. And that was my first Europe trip.
Oh, really?
Cool. And then Mom went home, and then we did an 11-day tour. So we did all 4 beaches at Normandy. We did Bastogne, Luxembourg. States. We stood in the same foxholes that our guy stood in. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Almost 80 years ago. And then we ended up in Munich, and which was absolutely incredible, and went to the Eagle's Nest. Anyway, every day I was like, it can't get any better. But anyway, I want to go back myself, maybe go to Germany. I want to go see Rome.
Yeah, I just like to go and I'm not a very high maintenance person. I could easily go and hike and backpack and stay in, the lowest places possible and just explore some of the ancient.
Well, you got to schedule it. Got to get on the schedule.
I want to go for months.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I can make that happen.
I'll talk to Don.
Okay, yeah, would you?
I'll let him know.
Yeah,
if you need I'll give you a sub in or something.
Okay, please do.
All right,
that would be appreciated.
You can have dinner with 2 people dead or alive. Who would it be?
You know what? If I could do that today, I would have dinner with my mother and father.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, they passed away when I was in my 30s, and so I look at families today, and particularly ones that have grandparents and great grandparents, and just there's so much that in 30 years that has happened. That would be
awesome. That'd be pretty special. Yeah, pretty special. This is a question. So the rapid questions I started not too long ago, but the one question I'm about to ask you now, I started beginning of the podcast, and I always say when the Super Terb Podcast is no more, because luckily I've got all these on video and or audio. I'm going to go back and maybe make a book. Not a book,
Oh, really?
but like a list,
Okay.
because I think every answer is there's no wrong answer.
Better than a TBJ list, right?
Yeah, for sure. Best advice you've ever received, and by who?
What I would say is when I was a kid, teenager, young college, I worked on a tobacco farm owned by a friend's father, and one of his things was always say good morning.
I like it.
And just sort of sets the tone for the day, not just for the people that you interface with, but also in your own head. I've always tried to make that a habit.
I love it.
Fairly simple.
Say good morning.
Yeah.
Say good morning. So you mentioned Wake Forest before. Is that where you went to college?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I figured. Man, this has been fun. I told you it was a good time.
Yeah,
It's
no, it's
nice and
awesome.
relaxing. Can't thank you enough. It's an honor to have you. Obviously very busy to come on the podcast, talk
Happy
about
to do it.
the company and just you love what you do. If there's anybody out there that may want to have questions about joining Coldwell Banker HPW, what's the best way to get in touch with whomever to start that conversation?
I'm happy to talk to anybody that would like to, and any of our office managers, be more than happy to.
Well, I want to also say personally, I think it's awesome to have you as our CEO. The way you, I don't want to say manage, but the way you lead our company, the one thing I'll say about you is, again, whether you've been doing this 5 minutes or someone in my mom, Jim's position, mega stars, you give everyone that same attention. You make everyone feel special. So we're very lucky to be able to call you our CEO and our leader there. So I just wanted to let you know that.
I appreciate it.
Can't thank you enough for coming on. So
Absolutely.
This
My
has been
pleasure.
a great time, guys.
Maybe we can do it some other
We'll
time.
do it. We'll do it next year. I'm trying to get Don on too. We can do it.
All right,
That could be wide open.
All right.
I got to have him sit still though. That would be the hard part.
Yeah.
Guys, listen. Thanks again. This is joining the Super Terb Podcast. If you like the podcast, please like, subscribe. Would love it. Help us grow. And if you're at all thinking about anything, if you're in the Triangle or wanting to move outside the Triangle, come into the Triangle. When I say Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, please reach out to me. We'd be honored to have the opportunity to gain your business, help you accomplish real estate goals. Again, it's Michael Turbett with David Jones. I'm your local real estate expert with the Out-of-Timber Group, Coldwell Banker HPW, a.k.a. Super Terb. And remember, who you work with matters. See you next time.